What's up, YouTube? We are back with another installment on getting into Microsoft. So, we spoke last week on just considering things to consider when you want to pursue a job at Microsoft. So, we're going to just keep building on this same premise. And today we're going to talk about the access points. Like, instead of going to the job boards and applying, because as you can imagine, they receive thousands, not hundreds, not tens, but thousands upon thousands of resumes and applications, right? So I want to share with you different doors that you can go in to get into Microsoft. So let's go ahead and talk about it. And while we're at it, drop me a comment and let me know, because I can speak specifically to you. Like, let me know what your title is, or if there's a specific business unit that you're interested in inside of Microsoft, like Azure or Teams or engineering and ops or the Xbox or whatever, the store. That's what I meant to say. Drop me a note below, and that way I can speak to you specifically while I'm having these conversations with you, okay? And as always, of course, if you're not subscribed, you got to do that, right? That way you can get the information. So go ahead and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and that'll let you know every time that I'm uploading a video. Okay, got that out the way. Let's get to it. So we talked about, again, last week, things to consider, because I wanted to lay a foundation. I want you to consider some of the things that you may or may not have thought about, right? So if you haven't watched that video, click somewhere up here and you can see that. And I think that's a good place to start, okay? So now let's get into it. I'm gonna give you 4 different access points on getting into Microsoft. And I'm gonna start with the most easiest way is to look for a hiring event. I think I shared this in my previous video. But the way that you look for the hiring event, now I do believe that they may have it on their website, but you won't know it's a hiring event. It will be a job description that's very generic, right? So let's take, for instance, a software engineering role, right? A SWE. If you go and just look on their website and look for a job and look for software engineering, if it's very generic, right, just saying we're looking for people excited about working at Microsoft and that have a baseline, not real specific details, that is a job description that will tie into a hiring event. So when you apply specifically to that job description, it will put you in that pool of candidates for the hiring event, okay? And so that's one way to get into a hiring event. The other way that I wanted to talk more about is going to LinkedIn, and in the search field, just type in hiring event. You can do hashtag hiring event, and you can also do hiring event. Now, once you do that, you'll see different filters. It'll say jobs, it'll say groups, it'll say events. Click on events. That's going to give you everybody's hiring event, but of course, you're looking specifically for Microsoft. And there should be a button or like a ellipsis, 3 dots or something like that, where you can filter for a specific company, or it may just say company. And so filter for Microsoft, and it will show you the dates of all of their hiring events. So that's the first way. You can get access to Microsoft through a hiring event, okay? The second one, which I kind of like, and I think it's a lot more strategic than tactical, meaning you're asking yourself, who can help me get into Microsoft, versus a tactical way of how do I get into Microsoft. So this way is through a referral. And here's why. They get paid, which is, quite frankly, the reason why, right? And they get paid a lot of money. I think it's $5,000. So what you can do, being very strategic, is align yourself with a peer of the same type of work that you do. It could be the same, business unit. It could be the same job title. It could be the same scope of work. It could be the same skill set that you have, similar to someone else inside of the company. And then what you're going to do is connect with them. And then you're going to have a conversation, and you can talk about, I know that Microsoft offers referral bonuses upwards of $5,000. You can see on my profile, I'm well qualified for a software engineer role, level 2, 3, 1, whatever the case is. And so I'm interested in collaborating with you. Is this something you'd be interested in, right? And if you come out the bat, talking about money, right? And kind of what your offer is, that will garner some attention from that person. So of course they're going to want to check you out and make sure that the person that they're referring is legit, right? They actually have the qualifications and the skill set, right, to do the job, with the potential of getting an interview in hopes of actually getting hired so that they can get the referral fee, right? So make sure you have everything buttoned up and polished, your profile, your resume. If you have a cover letter, I call them engagement letters when I'm working with my clients, but make sure all of that is polished and buttoned up, and then present yourself to them, right? And just don't do one, right? There's thousands of people in Microsoft. Send them all an offer, because out of all of that, right, you're sending to maybe 10 or 15 people, somebody's going to take you up on that offer, right? So that's the second way, through a referral. And again, make sure you have your documents buttoned up and polished and all of that. If you need help with that, drop me a note below and I can definitely help you with that. Now, the third way is staffing agency. So all of the big tech companies, especially the FAANG companies, including Microsoft, they work with staffing agencies, and they've built relationships with staffing agencies, long-term relationships. I came in through a staffing agency. So what you can do is you can also look for them on LinkedIn as well by just searching, staffing agencies, or I would put in there hiring, because a lot of them will have hiring, and then you got to do some due diligence. You got to filter through and work your way through to see who they're aligned with and who they're working with. I do have a list, I believe that, and I'm saying I believe, but I have a list for my clients, I know, but I don't know if I have a list available publicly. But if that's something you want as well, let me know. Yeah, I think I do have a list inside of my program, but that is an excellent way for you to get in front of them and have someone to really talk to and build a relationship with, and to present you into Microsoft. Okay, so that's the third way, through staffing agency. The fourth and final way that I'll share is sourcers. So recruiters, right, what we are, there's also sourcers, and they do just that. They go out and source candidates. Basically, that means they search for candidates, right? So what you can do is go to Microsoft, go to their company page, then look under the tab people, and then in the title, put sourcer. You'll get a slew of sourcers, right? And you can just start to reach out and engage with them about, talk about, when is the next hiring event, or ask, what roles are you open for? Or would you be interested in, are you looking for whatever your title is? And somebody will, right? And you also want to say, here's another bonus tip. You also want to ask them, if you don't have anything for me, would you be willing to share my resume? So you also want to put that in, because it won't be top of mind for them to do that and to work with other sourcers, because they have metrics and measurements, like almost like quotas from a sales that they have to meet. They have to get so many people in. So they're not real big on like sharing their candidates that they find. But I will say, just like at any workplace, you got people that you're close with, right? You got colleagues that you work with, that you have a relationship with, and you may not mind helping someone out. So it doesn't hurt to ask. So just say, if you don't have anything open, if there's someone else on your team that has an opening, please share my resume. Okay. So we talked about the 4 different ways of getting access inside of Microsoft, outside of the job boards. The first one we talked about was hiring events. The second one we talked about was referrals. And the third one we talked about was staffing agencies. And then the final one is finding the sourcers. So hopefully this is helpful for you. Don't forget to check out that first video to give you a foundation of things to consider before you move forward with this, because you want to make sure it's something you really, really want to do. I know we get caught up in the big brand names, and you want to have that prestige of working at some of these big tech companies, but you got to have the mentality for it, because they do work. That's why they are the big brand names. They do work. So make sure you check out that video, that first video, just to think about some things to consider. Okay. Again, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video.